Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to my Sunday live stream where we talk about photography and what's new and what's going on, just to kind of catch up on what everybody's been up to. Uh, I'm always here to answer any questions about Olympus cameras or any kind of photography related questions. I do the best I can, but mostly I just want to kind of catch up and see how everybody's doing. It's always nice, like I said, this is always like the highlight of my day. I look forward to these streams so I can just hang out with everyone. But let's see who's here. So Plato first. Oh my goodness, Scott, how are you? Paul, good to see you. Christian Johannes Eppel, nice. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I I cranked out that video yesterday. I on the OMD cameras, the 20 megapixels, because now that the EM10 has the 20 megapixel sensor, really they all have pretty much the same image quality. So it's just a matter of what features do you want as you go up the OMD lines. So I thought it'd be a good video to help people see what the differences are, and then you can kind of make a better decision. Uh, but anyhow, I've been listening to some classical guy. There's probably half a dozen of them that have the name Johannes in it. But Claire de Lune, I don't know why, but that particular piano piece just so relaxing, you know. I forget the name. I know Johannes is in the name, but I can't think of the whole name of that guy. But yeah, Christian Johannes Eppel. That name just rolls off the tongue. A lot of you have some terrific names. Mine is so awkward. I I don't know. I always like to have a name like Mark Alexander or Robert Julian Maurice Alexander, something like that. That just rolls off the tongue. But let's see. Marcia, good to see you. They're from Southeast Florida. What's the temperature there today? It's cold up here now, so we got all your cold weather. Hopefully it's warmed up down there. We should get a nice couple warm days Thursday, Friday this week. Casper, good to see you from Denmark. And Jeff Painter. David Crooks, how are you? Yeah, we went on a photo walk yesterday. David and he runs the local photography club here. So that was a lot of fun, and I got a chance to shoot with my film camera, my Pen FT, which, like I said, it shoots in a vertical portrait mode. So it's a half frame 35 millimeters, so it shoots vertically, which was interesting. So I did my best. I took my Pen F, my regular digital Pen F, and I put on the vintage 24 millimeter OM f2.8, and then set up the it's no battery, but set up the uh, aspect ratio to be 3:4, so it's also a portrait vertical. And I have some on my Instagram. Let me show you those, just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. See, so like this one here, right? So it's a vertical. So this is basically straight out of camera, and I use the monochrome profile number 2, which it pushes the highlights and shadows and adds a little bit of grain. So it's supposed to mimic film the best it can, and the grain pattern supposedly was designed from scans of actual black and white film stock. So, and I can see a little bit of difference. There's a little more grain in the shadows than there is in the highlights, which is more natural how film reacts, I think. That was kind of interesting. But most of these, or all of these pictures are straight out of camera, with the exception of I might have pushed like 1 EV on the highlights or on the shadows or on the exposure overall, because it came out darker. I didn't chimp the images to check the exposure, so a lot of them came out a little bit too dark, so I just pushed them 1 EV. But other than that, they're straight out of camera. And this one is straight out of camera with a red filter. The only thing I did here, actually, I didn't push at 1 EV because the exposure came out about right, is there was a sensor spot right here that I fixed. That was just ugly. You can see it in some of the other images. I gotta clean my sensor. I think it's the sensor. Like right here, there's a spot. And there's a spot here. You can see the spot here again. But I don't count that as post-processing really necessarily, because these are defects that shouldn't be there if I took care of my cameras. But anyhow, it was a lot of fun shooting film. And I always recommend people shoot film if if you haven't shot film ever and you're pretty good with a digital camera, you should think about shooting a film camera once in a while. They're cheap enough to get. And if you haven't shot film in a long time and are not sick of it, because I know some people, they've shot enough film, they don't ever shoot film again. It's nice. It's a nice nostalgic feeling to go back and shoot film. I recently discovered though that HP Ilford HP5, it's not standard C41 developing, so I have to send it to someplace special to get it developed. Fortunately, there's some labs left that'll do it, but I'm not a big fan of mailing things out to get done. Because there's a local 1 hour photo place. It's about 45 minutes away, but local, relatively local, that I'd rather go to and drop off my film and get developed rather than send it out. But now I got to send out like 3 rolls because they're all non-standard black and white. But once I get them developed, I'll share them with you guys, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison with the digital Pen F monochrome 2 and see how they look. Because I shot the cameras pretty much side by side for the most part. If I remember to do it, I don't know when I'm going to get it developed. Oh, hi David. David Tellett's here. I hope your finger's doing better. He was on the photo walk too. He cut his thumb trying to help me out, trying to open up the battery cover. So he got a little, I wouldn't even call it a pocket knife. It was like a little necklace knife. Like a little tiny knife on a necklace about this big. And he took it out. Man, that thing was sharp. Uh, and normally I have a first aid kit in my car. I was gonna give you a band-aid, but I keep the first aid kit actually in my Jeep because that's the one I take camping and stuff. I should keep one in my Mazda too, because you got to be prepared for everything, right? And Paul Celeru, good to see you. Adam Favre and John Yutze, good morning from Ohio. And I'm not even reading what people are saying here. What's going on with the Pen F2 with a new sensor? I mean, I talked about some rumor that Bob sent me an email about a rumor about a Pen F2, which seemed more credible than most, but it remains to be seen. And Lysippus is here. Edian is good. Good to see you. And Thomas Zizauskas, Plato, yes. And Brad Becker. Frank Zappa. No, not Frank Zappa. Claude Debussy, thank you. So there's no Johannes in it. I'm thinking of Bach. Johannes Bach. My bad. I'm getting them confused because I've been listening to Bach lately too. Yeah, Claude Debussy, if I'm pronouncing that right. Debussy, maybe. Because he's French, I think. Nature, good to see you. Randy, you got your power back and updated your EM1X. Very good. And Edian says, I meant the 14 to 150, 14 to 42, and 40 to 150. Edian says, I re-looked at your test. That was a great test. Oh, okay, yeah, that worked out great. I did retest that lens because I did it twice, and I did the test on 2 different days, and I did every picture twice on the M5 Mark II. And then after I was pretty sure the results were fairly consistent, I made the video. And then I saw some of the comments, and people were like, no, my 14-to-150 is awesome, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just my copy, right? Because, yeah, there was a significant difference on the wide end. When I was doing the portraits, it was definitely a little softer, right? And so I said, well, it is what it is. I mean, I did the test on 2 different days and took every picture at least twice, and every time the same result. But that was on the M5 Mark II. I put the lens on my EM1 Mark III, and I'll be damned if that lens wasn't tack sharp, wide and long. I didn't compare it against the other 2 kit lenses, but well, maybe I did. I can't remember. But I did redo that test again on my EM1 Mark III, and the lens performed much better on the EM1 Mark III than it did on the EM5 Mark II. So I'm wondering if the autofocus was slightly off on the M5 Mark II, like it didn't acquire focus perfectly on the wide angle shots. So I may redo the test again on, on a newer camera that has phase detect autofocus, and see if the lens performs better and is more up to what a lot of the comments I got about that lens. Because it's a lens that I take out all the time, excuse me, and just use, because I'm not, I'm not really a pixel peeper. I'm more trying to improve my composition and everything else, because that's still, that's just a lifetime journey, right? Trying to get better at photography. You never get good at it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I've been shooting for almost 7, 8 years now, and I'm still not happy. Not even 50%. It's like my keeper rate is so low. It's just pathetic. It's like, it'd be nice to be able to go out and just take 100 shots and have like 98 keepers out of 100. Maybe that's just a pipe dream, but right now it's the opposite. Like, I'll take 100 shots and I'll get 2 keepers. And then even those 2 aren't epic, like James Pop says, I don't, he was talking about how on one of his vlogs, he takes a lot of pictures and then only has a handful of keepers. But at least the keepers he has are epic, like really nice. And yeah, maybe it's the locations he goes to, but a lot of it is really his composition, and he has a really good eye for things. Same thing with like, what's his name? Well, there's a lot of great photographers on YouTube, right? They have channels dedicated to just sharing their photography, and it's just, at least with James, right? We know he post-processed, his images. It's not hardcore, but the post-processing he does, I really like how he does his tone curves and things too. So if you haven't watched James Popsis recently, he's always a lot of fun to watch anyway, because he's just a funny guy. But his last few vlogs have been, I think, very educational. From just little tiny bits here and there, entertaining and educational. Because if I did a video like that, it would, everybody be passing out. I mean, I used to vlog a lot, and it was a lot of fun, but they never got that many views and stuff. Mike Ham is asking, any experience with the TG6? I got it for underwater shooting, but wondering if you have preferred settings. Yes, I have the TG5, which is, for all intents and purposes, the same camera. And, clearly for just normal photography, I bought it because I wanted an even smaller camera to carry around, a pocket camera, a real pocket camera. And the settings, obviously don't bump the ISO on that camera if you can help it, because it just turns into a wreck pretty fast. But that aside, you know, because sometimes you don't have a choice. You need the shutter speed. Uh, I found, and these are very, very, very minor differences. Okay, again, these are like pixel peeping type differences. But turn the sharpness off. Like right now, I think the default is 0. Turn it to -1 or -2, whatever the lowest setting is for sharpness, because that, especially if your ISOs are going up, because that is adding unbelievable amount of noise to the image. I mean, it's not adding noise, but it's sharpening the noise even more. So I did notice that my images were cleaner when I turned the sharpness all the way down. And you didn't really lose any perceived sharpness. So how you offset that is you increase the contrast like 1 notch. So I think +1, maybe +2, but +1 is good. And that'll bring back sort of that crispiness of the image that you might lose with reducing the sharpening. And then the other thing is I did find, and this is really, really, really minor, is just stop the lens down just one tick. Because it's like an f2 lens. And I think it doesn't stop down like in full stops. I don't think, I can't remember now. It's been a while since I've actually shot with that. But just stop it down one notch. Unless you're in low light and you need to keep your ISO low. It's better to keep the ISO low than to stop the lens down, because the improvement when you stop that lens down a tiny bit is very minor. It's imperceptible if you're posting on Instagram. But if you're looking at it on your computer and punching in 100, 200%, you can see a difference when you stop that lens down a tiny bit. So if you can, if you're in good light, stop the lens down, stay at base ISO 100, turn the sharpness down to -2, and add a tiny bit of contrast, like 1 notch or +1 or +2 if you can tolerate +2. Because the contrast didn't affect the noise, the grain and the noise. And then you can also shoot, also turn off the noise reduction in the camera. If you're going to use noise reduction at higher ISOs, keep it on low, because again, it gets very soft and smudgy on that camera. Because the lens isn't that sharp to begin with. It's a kind of a soft lens. So when you combine high ISO with a soft lens and then noise reduction, yeah, it's, you know, it looks like an oil painting. uh, so those are my tips. Keep things as, you know, simple as possible. By not letting the camera do any additional processing. Turn off noise reduction, turn off the sharpening, touch of contrast, and I think that's it. And then stop down 1 notch and stay at base ISO. And you'll get great images. I mean, that's a lot of work, right, to get good images. Use a tripod for low light shots. I got great low light shots with there's a night mode on it. You can't actually set the shutter speed to 4 seconds, but it has a night mode that will let the shutter go to 4 seconds. And on a tripod, the images are amazingly good at 4 seconds. That's another thing if you're doing low light photography. Underwater photography, I know nothing about. So there was a channel, I forget what it's called, Scatterback or something, that's dedicated to the TG5, TG6 underwater photography, and there's a great Facebook group for it too, if you're into underwater photographies. But that's not anything I can give you advice on. All right, so that was, wow, that's a lot of talk about a camera very few people own, right? And Marcia says it'll be 80 this afternoon for the cold front. Nice, God, 80. And then the temps will drop to 40, which is astonishingly cold for the south. Yeah. You know, my body has just gotten used to fall temperatures where it's like in the 50s here and maybe goes in the 40s at night. But this week, starting today, it was like 29 degrees or something this morning. And I opened the door to let my dog out. And I was like, man, this is cold. So I got another level of getting used to cold weather to go still. because I remember when it's really cold all the time, I can tolerate 40 degrees in the daytime. And then at night it can drop down to 30, and I can almost tolerate it. I got really good hats now and scarves and double thick jeans and stuff. So, but I'm not used to it yet. It's going to be probably mid-January before I get used to like it being that cold here all the time. When we get down in the teens and everything, that's just too cold. I wanted to go out this morning because the lighting, you know, there was not as many clouds this morning as there was yesterday morning. So I was actually thinking about going back out to the park to get some sunrise shots because I want to get some sample real life shots for another video that I'm working on. But after I opened the door, I mean, I was like, man, it is too freaking cold. Because I can probably keep my body warm, but my hands get so cold. You know, I can't feel the buttons or it's just, I don't know. I'm an idiot for not doing more in the summertime, really, when it was nice out. But we had that whole, you know, restriction thing going on. So it was nerve-wracking all summer. Anyhow, John Yutse says Ilford XB2 is chronogram. Yeah, yeah. David Tellett was telling me the XP2 is normal C41. So thank you, John. You'd say I will, and it scans better too. That's good to know. So yeah, I'm going to be buying XP2 from now on instead of HP5. I wish the guy at District Camera told me that, but I guess, you know, if you're buying film, you should know what you're doing. uh, I don't know. Okay. I mean, at least, yeah, if you're buying film, know what you're buying. And Bach was a long time ahead of Debussy. They're almost 200 years apart. Really? I know nothing about music, but every now and then I'll hear a song when I'm watching something on Netflix or something. And I'm like, wow, that's, you know, that's a great song or a great tune or music. And I'll uh, I'll look for it. Sometimes I can never find it, but I'll look for it and uh, and then put on my playlist on Amazon. Larry Hayes says, "Did I ever?" Yeah, yeah, I got two rolls finished on that Fuji, but you know, one of them is HP Ilford HP5. I think you sent me an HP4 or something, the original roll, um, which apparently I can't get developed locally, so I have to send them out. And I got a third roll almost done with Portra 160, I think. I forget. I did buy Portra for it. I can't remember what speed I bought though. Um, it's on the back of the camera over here. I can't remember what speed it is. But yes. So I need to finish like one or two shots on the GW 690, and I need to finish one more shot on my OM2, which is a 36 roll, but I only have one shot left. I may not even bother. Take a picture of my dog or something. I don't know. And then I got 30 shots left on my Pen F, and I got 3 rolls sitting there waiting to be developed. So yeah, it's 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 weird, you know, that with digital cameras you're so used to getting things instantly, and with film, if you're a procrastinator like me, it may never get developed. Kind of like what's her name, that street photographer lady that's really famous but passed away, and then they found a whole box of undeveloped film and stuff. That's going to be my house, right? It's like people are going to come over like after I pass and like, geez, look at all this film he never developed. Yeah, just chuck it. Because, you know, none of my photos are that great anyway. They're just for me. But I did. I have taken it out time to time. But I only take like one or two shots when I take it out. So I've taken it out maybe 5 or 6 times, but when I go, I only get one or two shots when I take it out, maybe 3, because it shoots 8 images per roll, and it's so freaking expensive. You know, it's like any picture I take with it, I want it to be epic. You know, like worthy of that film stock, right? And that camera, it has to be worthy. You know, already got like 2 or 3 pictures of my dog. That's it for her. She's not worthy of any more of that film. And you know, I think I've got some street photos, so I still got a ways to go. But I have to find something worthy of that camera. And Edian says it was my first, the 14-150, and have it fixed on my EM5 Mark II. Yes. Yeah, it's a great lens, no question. I know we were talking about that earlier. Nigel Danson, yes. Nigel Danson is awesome. I would give Edian, I would give Nigel Danson, you know, about an 8 out of 10. From, you know, and we're talking about my personal taste. If I'm looking at pictures, it has nothing to do with his level of photography or the images he takes. So I'm not a hardcore landscape guy to begin with. The other guy that drives a van, he just bought a new Mitsubishi van. Have you seen that video? I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. But that guy I would put a notch above Nigel. Uh, just a notch, maybe an 8.5 or a 9. In terms, because that Thomas Heaton, I think that's his name. But anyway, I might go, who is Thomas Heaton? Is that, no, that guy's a musician, right? But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Thomas Heaton. But he has a really uncanny ability to just take a very mundane scene, like, and just make it epic. You know, somehow. I mean, time to time, his images, I'm like, you know, meh. You know, it's like it's a picture of a tree in a tree in the fog. You know, and it's a mess, in my opinion. But at the same time, when you really look at it, uh, it's really beautiful, the images he makes. And sometimes the images individually aren't that impressive, but when you look at his body of work and he puts it into a calendar or whatever he does with them, you know, they're really, really something, like just amazing. So, and he's always a lot of fun to watch. I always jab at him because, you know, of all the B-roll he does. You know, like a lot of vloggers, they have a ton of B-roll. And B-roll is fine, but I'm talking about B-roll where they're climbing up a mountain or they're driving towards the camera. You know, they had to set the camera up, drive back out and come back, or climb the mountain and climb back down, you know, all that stuff. Because they're one-man bands, right? Like me. And I'm not doing it. I might do it as a gag, right? But I'm not doing it for real. Not for a vlog that's going to get like 1,000 views. You know what I mean? It's like, um, I'm not climbing a mountain twice. But regardless of that, but it's fun to watch. It makes for much more engaging video to watch. Maybe that's why I only get 1,000 views on my videos, but it makes for much more engaging video to watch, to see them climbing the mountain or driving into the scene, you know, those kind of things. But, you know, if I made the same video as Thomas Heaton or like James is not as bad. He does a little bit of B-roll like that, but he's not as bad as Thomas Heaton and some other guys. But like a Thomas Heaton video might be 20, 30 minutes, you know? And if you cut out all the B-roll that I wouldn't do that he does, it'd be like a 2-minute video, right? For me. Because there's, you know, there's just all this B-roll of him walking and setting up the scene. And all of this is, you know, part of the story. And I think that's why he does so well. But in my mind, when I'm out in the field, I'm like, I'm not walking out there, opening the gate, then coming back, and then going, you know what I mean? Maybe I should. Maybe I should just one day just take some time to try to make one epic vlog for me. Like for everybody else, it's like every day they make vlogs like that. It's no big deal. But for me, to start doing B-roll like that, It's going to be one of my most epic vlogs ever, right? On a scale of, 1 to 10 for my channel, that would be a 10 video, or better be. On a scale of like vlogs in the universe on YouTube, yeah, it's probably still rated a 1 or 2 out of 10, but uh, I don't know. It's a lot of work to carry all that gear. That's why those guys always have these big backpacks, because half of their gear is freaking vlogging gear for setting up for B-roll. And then the other half, is, they got, like James Pops is, I don't know why he has a backpack or a bag. He keeps his camera right here on his little thing. Everything in the backpack is just B-roll stuff. Sound gear, camera gear, tripods, all that stuff, so you can vlog properly. And I don't, anyway, it just, and that's why I like, let me get through some comments first, and then I'll talk about another guy. And Chuck says, saw your own 24 photos on Instagram, more reasons to try the 28. Oh, I have a 28 Tokina. I have that focal length covered. But the 28 is a f3.5, right? With almost macro capability, I think. I'm not sure. I know it's a 3.5, Chuck, so maybe one day. I still got maybe. I'll have to give that some thought. Next time I'm on eBay, I'll look at some and see how much they are. If they're not too expensive, I could pick one up. David Giff is a good watch. David Griff, he also used, oh, I've never heard of him, Richard. Dang, I'm 20 minutes behind on the chat. Was I just jibber-jabbering that long about nothing? But I do like to just gab sometimes. Me. This guy. David Griff. All right, we'll check him out. Oh, he's pretty consistent. See how many videos he's got. Oh, he's got a bunch. Wow, never seen this guy before. You say he shoots Micro Four Thirds? Let's see.
Well, hello, and thanks for joining me again for some more landscape photography.
Oops, let me turn that down.
Today I'm down at the church in the sea, and once again I seem to find myself out in rather challenging conditions.
Let's see if he does B-roll like everybody else. Okay, this is normal B-roll. I would do this. This is good B-roll. This is normal. Yeah, see, this guy doesn't waste time. All right, so we're 4 minutes in, and he's just now setting up his camera on a tripod. Yeah, that's an Olympus. Looks like a 12 to 100 there. Can you guys hear me? I mean, or how come there's no audio?
Just on the very edge of the beach.
There.
But there wasn't any beach, and even when I was up just on the headland down there, something terrible and unusable. I'll show you.
Yeah, I bet that's the 12 to 100. All right, so is he going to show a picture? Oh, let's see one. Nice. Let's see this one. Yeah, these are nice, these images. Okay, that's a good find. Thank you. Very good find there. Richard Francis, thank you for that. I'll definitely add him. Someone recommended another girl that does film. I subscribed to her channel. I watched a couple of videos. It was really good. I forget who recommended it, but yeah, she's really good too. I like David Griff, right? No unnecessary, or when I say unnecessary, I mean like when you're in the field, right? It's if you weren't vlogging, it would be totally unnecessary to hike a mountain twice. So that's what I mean by unnecessary in the context if you're not vlogging. If you're vlogging, then it becomes necessary if you want a good content, right? But this guy didn't do anything, right? He just stood in front of the camera like I do, jibber jabber. But he did have a lot of B-roll of the ocean there, which I think I should do more of. I don't do enough B-roll of the environment that I'm in, and that's easy enough to do. Uh, but anyway, that's a good find. I'll definitely check him out. Dang, Randy, you had an earthquake? Yeah, that's the problem with California. Between the mudslides, the uh, the the fires, the earthquakes, uh, it's in the windstorms. Yeah, it's not good. Everyone talks about how great the weather is there. 350 days out of 356 days, but there's like a week spread out over the year where it's life and death over there. Earthquake, fire, mudslides, floods, it's just everything. Ugh. Small quakes relieve pressure, yes. And you just saw a movie on San Andreas yesterday? Was it a documentary, Edian? Richard Francis says, I never use it. What do you never use? Did I miss? Bob Finley says, Jane Pops has just moved back to Wales. Nothing but great landscapes there. Yeah. And JP, James Pops, seems to be using the full frame panning now instead of the G9. Yeah, he's got his last couple of videos. He's been, he's just getting acclimated with the new gear. He bought some lenses and stuff. I would do the same thing. I mean, I have the S5, but I didn't really. He bought it with the intention of doing photography, particularly in low light and stuff. I didn't buy it for that. Where? Oh, it's outside. It's in my living room, just sitting on the dining room table, collecting dust now. But anyway, he bought it with the intent to do photography. I bought it with the intent to do video for my architecture photography, right, and videography. But uh, he knows how good and not good Micro Four Thirds is, right? So he'll use it when he wants to. He'll use the Panasonic when he's gonna get tired of the heavy lenses. I guarantee it. It's like kind of fun when you get a new camera. Like he's talking about a 16 to 35, and I like that wide angle video he just made. That was fun to watch, and he's right, man. It exaggerates everything, the perspective, the distortion of wide angle lenses. Adam Farr says, you spend time on the important stuff like composition and skills. Many worry about camera features and tech that won't help them until they have the skills. Yeah. Um, that's the thing is, and I say it all the time, the higher your photography skill set, the less the gear matters, right? You're going to get a good picture no matter what you're shooting with. Assuming you have a fairly competent camera. I mean, I would call even a Pen PL8 a competent camera, right? EM10 Mark II is a competent camera. You'll get great pictures with it. Uh, and Edian loves James Popsis. Yeah, I love James. I remember when he started his channel. We started roughly at the same time, his channel and mine, actually. And we used to I used to comment on his videos and he would reply back. I've sent him a couple of emails. He responded one time because I wanted to come on my channel as a guest, right, on my live streams. And I sent him another 2 emails since then. And I haven't heard back from him. But, that's fine. He's a busy guy. He's always traveling and doing stuff. But you think with the lockdowns and stuff that's going through, he might have some time to hang out with us, right? But he's never done live streams that I've ever seen, even as a guest on anything. So maybe he's just not into that. And Bob's asking, did anybody acquire new gear for Cyber Monday? No, I did not actually. Most of the stuff, I have most of what I need already. It was tempting though. It was tempting to get a second body, like a second EM5 Mark III, or maybe get the EM10 Mark IV. It was tempting, all the deals. It really was. Um, Davis says, I use the ProMaster knit photo gloves. I have some ProMaster gloves. They're more of a nylon with the fingers that come off. They're fine, but my hands still get cold. And John wears fitness gloves. Yep. Good grip. Oh, hey, Arthur, how are you? Vivian Meyer, thank you. Yes, I was talking about that like an hour ago, right? Yeah, Vivian Meyer. And then John McCormick says, my mother threw out 40 years of my dad's negatives when he died. Yeah, that's what's going to happen to me. It's so sad. I scanned about 2,000 images for my cousin of his negatives, you know, and put them on Flickr for him so that he'll have them there. But, you know, who knows who's. I was thinking about it today, this morning, actually, the legacy of all my photos, my family photos and things. Those are the only things I think worth keeping for future generations. Because, you know, in the future, nobody's going to want to see my crappy landscape pictures or whatever, right? Pictures of mushrooms, you know, that can all go. But like the family pictures, uh, I got to think of a way to preserve those for future generations of the family to, you know, just look back for if anybody ever gets nostalgic. Because, you know, in the future, they'll probably be able to fit a billion images, you know, on their smartphone or whatever device they'll be using in the future. And it'll do facial recognition, everything, so they can just say, hey, let me see what my great 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 granddad looked like. And there'll be a picture of, you know, my dad or something. I don't know. um, anyhow, uh, Adam Gibbs has a good channel. Never heard of him either. Man, you guys are. Somebody referred me to a channel that had one video. I mean, it was a good video, but they only had one. They said, "Oh, you should follow this guy." And I looked, and I said, "He's got one video." Um, oh yeah, he's a good landscape. I'm just looking at his website, Adam Gibbs here. Oh, my battery. How? How is the battery dead already? I didn't change before I started. That's why. Hold on. Dang, what time is it? Oh, it's only 10:49. 10:49, 10:49. Yeah, so I should have checked the battery before I started. This is the battery I used when I was recording that video. Uh, oh, he's not using a Squarespace website. Wow, nice. Look at that. It's beautiful stuff. Wow. Maybe I just need to travel more and get these kind of pictures. Uh, okay. Thomas Heaton. Oh my God, what time? 10:33. So I need to catch up. Uh, Adam Gibb was using a GFX 100 in the water recently. Just that's a brave guy. Wow. And Nature says, "Hi Randy, just got the M1X, good price, free red spot. Downloaded new bird. Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of people. I'm hearing a lot of people getting the M1X now because it's like 1999. I think some people got it for even less than that. That's pretty tempting. Trust me, I was tempted by that, but I thought, just too big. I'm never going to use it. Uh, but anyway, you know, I'd rather buy a Pen F2. Like, I will hold out for a Pen F2. If I buy an EM1X, I'll never be able to afford a Pen F2. Adam Karnak. There's so many here. You know what I'm going to have to do is I'll have to put up a poll or a forum or put something in my forum where people can make recommendations like this of people to go watch. Because, you know, I'm so, you know, I'm in such a small circle of people on YouTube that I've gotten used to watching, and finding new channels like, you know, this guy Griff, whatever his name was, and things like that are just out of my radar now. Because I have subscriptions to so much content now, and they publish pretty regular. But it's still nice every now and then to just kind of, you know, pop up a video from somebody that you never heard of, or that I never heard of before, that are awesome. Henry Turner, yeah, lots. There's so many names here. And then John Yusei says Steve Onions is another. Yeah, I've watched him. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Maybe it's onions instead of onions. It's spelled out. It's spelled like onions, but I think he pronounces onions. Uh, yeah, he's pretty awesome. I watch his channel time to time. I actually reached out to him to come on my channel to be a guest. Never got back to me. I try. Honestly, I really try to get some interesting YouTubers as guests on my live stream. But, you know, either my email gets lost in the spam folder for them, or they're not interested in live streaming at all. You know, so why would they even, you know, or maybe they don't even want to be a guest on my channel. They don't like me. I don't know. It's fine. Like I said, the whole world doesn't have to like me, but, you know, they can just respond and say, thanks, Rob, but I don't like you. Or they can, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Some response would be nice rather than this silent treatment. And it, like I said, it may not be their fault. It may be just going into a spam folder, or they just see it as spam and don't even open it up or know who I am. You know, because I get so much email. Like, Tony Northrup could send me an email right now, and it'd probably go in my spam folder, and I would never see it, you know? So I don't think it's anything personal, but what episode is it that shows you how to do sets and my sets? Oh, let's see. I did one recently. Episode for the EM10 Mark II, and it's pretty much the same on most of the TruePic 7 cameras, is episode number 250, is my most recent one. Yeah, the epic robtrek video. And Edian says, I'm part of the team Nature First in Holland. I need to make a presentation, so I'm making lots of B-roll. Cool. And Casey Neistat, Arthur says, Casey Neistat was the original vlogger to do that walking up and past the camera style storytelling vlog, and got more than 10 million subscribers. That's why they do it too. Oh, yeah, maybe that's what's holding me back, because I don't do enough B-roll in my videos. So maybe I'll just do a spoof on B-roll. Because it is funny if you actually watch the production, like a one-man band production of doing that kind of B-roll, it's kind of funny. What's his name? E6 Vlogs. He did a like a 30-second spoof on it in one of his videos. I can't remember what it was. But every now and then you'll see him walking out, like it's B-roll of him walking out into the scene, and then he'll come running back and get the camera, you know. So he has a tiny spoof on it. And the E6 Vlogs is awesome too. And Rick Bear says, Rob Trek's astrophotography video is titled Into Darkness. Oh, that's a Star Trek movie. I would probably get uh, flagged on that one, man. Rob Trek Into the Darkness. They'd be like, you are so ripping off Star Trek. And like I said, my channel's not about Star Trek. I mean, I'm a Star Trek fan, but it's not about Star Trek at all. Let's see. And Jeff Painter says, use a drone, Rob. Save a lot. Yeah, drones are pretty much banned here. I can't use them at any national parks or state and local parks, so nothing. I can't use it anywhere. And so the only thing left that's open, wide open, beautiful landscape is private property, and you can't do that either. I don't know any rich people that I can go on their property and do B-roll with a drone. Seriously, I bet. You know, it was freezing last night. Why are there any bugs? Anyhow, this would be an interesting challenge, is see if you can find any drone footage in the United States that's epic, right? That from like a regular person, not like a Hollywood production where they pay the city of New York to do this, you know, they pay big money to do it. I'm talking about just a guy with a drone going out and doing footage. I don't think you'll find it. I mean, maybe there's places that you can do that, but not anywhere near where I live with all the major airports and military bases. Yeah, most landscape YouTubers, because, you know, James Pops this man, he goes everywhere with his freaking drone. You cannot do that here, man. There's nowhere to fly a drone in this area. One of my agents finally gave in because he's been asking me to do drone work for almost 2 years now, and I said I can't do it. And then we were talking about it. This was about 2 months ago. Last time I had a photo job, for God's sake. But you know, uh, he said, "Yeah, I reached out to a few other people to do drone work, and they won't do it either." And I said, I told you you can't do drone stuff in this area. That it's just not, you know, it's illegal." um, and I have a drone that I got about almost 2 years ago now, and it's only flown inside my house and crashed many times, but that's it. The only other place I can go is maybe my sister's house. She has about 7 or 8 acres of land, uh, which I might do, but she's a couple hours away, you know, and I'm not driving a couple hours away to crash my drone for 20, you know, it'll fly for like 20 minutes and then you got to charge it overnight. I, you know, maybe I'm overthinking it. I should just have fun, but you know, so what if I learn to fly it? But then where am I going to take it after I learn to fly it? You know, I can't. Anyhow, yeah, but James is showcasing gear as well. Yes. And Thomas said it was a documentary on the San Andreas fault saying that 300-year cycle of major quakes has expired. So we got a 99% chance for another one in 30 years. Yeah. Ugh. Have I made a sensor clean video yet? No. I'm never going to do a sensor cleaning video. um, I will take you know, I will probably clean a sensor myself because I'm cheap, but I would never recommend somebody clean their own sensor. My recommendation is to take it in and get it done professionally. Spend $100 or whatever. But if I make a video about how to clean a sensor like the way I do, man, I'll get in a lot of trouble. And Marco says, I went a little luck. Nuts. EM1X and em 104 traded in my 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 em 104 That's a great combination, man. And David Crook says, I got the TPE for my iPhone, part of a bundle. I don't know what a TPE is. A TPE. I have no idea what that is. I'm not a big fan of Apple. I might have to get one though, because I was thinking about live streaming on Amazon. Because on Amazon, you can live stream on Amazon, but then I can like push, Olympus products and stuff and earn commission, right? Um, because I'm not really into like shameless promotion of selling gear on my channel. I do it time to time when people send me stuff for free to review. I'll say, there's and 9 times out of 10, it's the links to the manufacturer directly, not even affiliate, not even my own affiliate links when I do product reviews. I really want my channel to be about education and, all of that stuff. And if you guys want to support the channel and use the links, great, but I don't push it. But on an Amazon live stream, that's all it's for, is pushing product. So that might be a nice way to make a couple extra bucks before Christmas is over, and then a little bit throughout the year. So I'm thinking about doing that, live streaming on Amazon. But I need an Apple iPad or iPhone to do it because they don't have an app for Android. So I might borrow one from my mom. I think she has an iPad that might work. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see. On YouTube, the only way I make money is mostly actually from the buy me a coffees and donations. That makes up a pretty good chunk of it, which isn't much. And then the advertising fees, time to time there'll be a video that does well, but like if a video gets 1,000 views, it's like I might make $2 or $3, on 1,000 views. And most of my videos only get about 1,000 views. And then over time, the views stack up, right? But then how much you earn off the views drops quite a bit at that point. You really make most of the money in the beginning. Um, and granted, $3 for 1,000 views is not bad. But, one cup of coffee is $3, right? And that's, that I can get that on one view. uh, like I was watching something like these sponsored videos, like sponsored by Squarespace or sponsored by somebody, right? You know, uh, you really only make like $10 to $15, right? They pay you like 3 cents per thousand or something, some ridiculously low amount based on your average number of views that you get on your channel. Well, this is not about making money on YouTube. But I just wanted, since we were talking about it, uh, those things. So time to time, I'll get offers to do sponsorships and stuff, and I'll see how they pay, and I'm like, Christ, why would I waste a video on this is sponsored by Squarespace, to make $10, I assume people like James and these other guys make a lot more because their average video is 20 to 50,000 views. So they're getting paid more for those kind of sponsorships. But for me, I'm looking at my average view count and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to waste my viewers' time with, a 10-minute video and there's 2 minutes of, you know, advertising, right, about Squarespace or what, not necessarily Squarespace, but about any sponsored kind of thing. Now, I do like doing the free products, people sending me stuff for free, uh, if I think it's relevant, because like right now somebody wants to send me a gimbal. I'm still on the I'm still on the fence about doing a review on that because that's very video centric. And then really for movie makers, people that want to make movies, not so much for the average enthusiast, right, in photography. But it's like a $400 gimbal, and they're going to give it to me. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, But like the little microphones and things like that, that is handy for vlogging and stuff. That the average person, if they're interested in vlogging, those kind of products are useful. What did I do? I did a review on this video thing that I use. That's really useful. Um, well, you guys know my channel, most of you anyway. All right, let's see. Let me get caught up again on the chat. Roman is here. Hi, Roman. Nature says, I have the gloves with the ends cut off so I get to the buttons. Yeah, I buy those knit gloves, right, that stretch out, and I cut a little hole right about here so that I can just flip the end off and have a free finger, then flip it back over. It's amazing how cold your finger gets when that little tip is off. Your fingers get cold. So that's why, you know, because I was thinking, you know, just get cut off gloves, right? But yeah, your fingers get really freaking cold. So I cut a hole here. Because the first pair I just cut the whole finger off. I was thinking, how cold is my finger gonna get, right? Because most of my hand is covered, but man, it gets cold. so so I just cut the hole here in the knit glove. You know, you can buy like 2 pair for like $1, right? And then just fold it over. And let's see. Hi, all. Popping in for a minute. Oh, hey, Walter. Well, that was 20 minutes ago, so you might be gone by now. Uh, Adam Gibb is world famous. Well, he's not using a Squarespace site. I know that. Anyway, not that it matters, but I'm just saying. I'm just poking fun at Squarespace, really, not Adam Gibb. And Dave Nelson says, is robtrek using crappy third-party batteries? No. I'm using Olympus original batteries on my EM1s, always. And then, let's see, like, dang it, this thing jumped. Oh, because of the spam, that's why it jumped. All right. Sorry. Let me read faster here. I hate being ghosted. Yeah. That's why, you know, like if I sign up for a photo walk on in your photo club, I'll call you and say I'm just running late, you know, so at least you know. I know you like 30 people say they're coming to the photo walk, then like, you know, half show up. I know you didn't get 15 phone calls from the half of the people that didn't show up. And not that it matters. It's just a photo, you know, walk, right? But just out of courtesy, I just call or text you and say, I'm running late, you know? Um, Everybody's asking what happened to Joseph Ellis, but yet no news since Olympus mentioned they're selling. I have no info on Joe. Uh, and Z-Bug says, please respond to me. I've been a big fan since the 17th of December. Okay. Uh, you know, let me just put this here because this is my email, right? rob@robtrek.com. You know, if you have a question, just email me, and I usually get back within 24 hours, maybe 48, but I usually get back to you. So just email me if you have any questions. I mean, if you ask it here and I missed it, it's not on purpose. It's just so many chat messages come up, I just miss it, you know? Uh, but feel free to email me anytime if you have any questions. So Z Luke, I'm sorry, it's Z Luke. I'm going to skim up a little bit, but I don't see anything else from you here. Unless you just wanted a shout out. Hey, what's going on? Always happy to hear from a fan. Brad says, is the sensor tech pretty much to date in the Olympus versus APS-C? Yeah, nothing in sensor tech has changed much in the last 10 years. Uh, you know, they have the backside illuminated sensors, which are just, they're the same thing, but they just put the wiring on the back instead of in the front. Very subtle differences in the last 10 years. Most of the work's been done in the processing side, the CPU side. You know, the rest of the camera, not the sensor itself. It's just a piece of silicon on a wafer. They cut it out, put it in the camera. Not much has changed. They have the stack sensor tech also now, which is more about controlling rolling shutter and faster response time and all that. But image quality in and of itself is not that much different. It's still just a single piece of silicon with a bunch of wires laid on top, you know, and some micro lenses. So that's why I don't, you know, I don't put too much stock in these minor differences in sensors in all the current cameras. They're really, really minor. I mean, you know, and by minor, I'm saying it's minor to me. There's some people where if they see one speck of grain, you know, they just lose it. You know, they just go out of their mind and start, you know. But for me, most of the sensor tech and sensors, they're all the same to me. You know, full frame, micro four thirds, uh, you know, my TG5, which has a little tiny 2/3 inch sensor. Um, if you shoot with it in a way that makes sense, you know, you'll get fine pictures out of it, regardless of what the sensor size is. Even your iPhone or cell phone, you know, you can get decent pictures. I just don't like handling a cell phone to take pictures. Otherwise, I could get away with using this, but you know, I can't attach a flash to it. I can't, you know, this just using a cell phone for photography is just not me at all. Some people are fine, you know, they like it, but I could never shoot with a cell phone. So when you ask me if it's up to date, I would say that nothing's changed in 10 years. Uh, I mean, think about it. Uh, what do I have that's 10 years old from 2010? I think my Pentax K10 is a CMOS. No, it's a CCD. So once they went to CMOS technology, very shortly after that, uh, you know, they trumped the CCD technology. But CCD, after they switched to CMOS, because it used to be primarily CCD, after they switched to CMOS and then they got the CMOS technology, you know, up to speed, everything from that point forward, so maybe not 10 years, maybe go back 5 or 6 years, nothing's changed. Okay. Not enough anyway. Dave Nelson says, is there a place on Rob's forum page to sell things? No, there is not. But you have an EM5 Mark II you want to sell. Um, I don't have a listing for that, but it would be nice. I have mixed feelings about setting up a buy and sell area on my forum. I'm still thinking about it. Um, but I'm just afraid it might open it up to scammers, you know, trying to scam people for buy and sell things. So it's almost best not to have it at all rather than take that risk. I mean, if I knew it was just going to be our little community of viewers and members, I would be fine with it, right? But I just feel like because it's online worldwide, you know, it's gonna get spammed. I already delete spam almost every day on it, you know, as it is. But yeah, so sorry, Dave. And do anyone ever use blue colored backdrop cloth? The key is just leave. Trying to read past this Danny guy. Anyone ever used blue colored backdrop? Okay, now I'm with you. Here we go, nature. The key out or just leave me superimposed on a suitable photo. No idea how to do this. I have Final Cut Pro. Um, Blue works. Problem is I wear a lot of blue things. Like my sweater's blue, my shirt's blue, so I couldn't use blue key color. But I don't use Final Cut Pro, so I couldn't tell you how to do it. But it's very easy to do in OBS software. You just use a color key. In DaVinci Resolve, it's kind of the same thing. It's a little more complicated. You'll have to search on YouTube how to do it in Final Cut. I can't give you any advice. But whether you choose blue or green, it just depends on what you're wearing. Like if I'm using a green screen, I'm not going to wear a green shirt, right? But I have a lot of blue things, so I just don't wear blue. I don't use a blue backdrop. Rick Bear says, I give it less than a month after Olympus releases the Pen F Mark II before robtrek's gas makes him buy it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to resist. You're right, Rick. And let's see. Lauren says, landscapes are fine, still do it, but after so many years of shooting, I find people shots, urban street more fun and challenging. Of course, the subjects look a lot like Amish dolls. Yeah. Lauren is an excellent photographer. I did read your email, Lauren, about your new Canon. You bought a Canon R, and the image, I saw your images. They're beautiful. They're really nice. We'll have to talk about that more. I've been meaning to email you back. I just haven't had a chance to email you back on that, but we can talk about it later. And David Crook says there's a drone company in northern Indiana over Lake Michigan. Oh, okay. I mean, there's got to be places in the United States where they have places you can use drones and they're beautiful, but I don't know anywhere around here. Yeah, Walter, no-fly zones. It's pretty much a blanket no-fly zone within 50 square miles of DC. Pretty much. Drones are target practice in Montana. That's funny. Plus, you can't fly drones everywhere anymore, and you need a license if it's too big, yeah. And Nature with Music says, hey, you just mentioned me to charge up my drone batteries, as have not used for several months. Yep, I just reminded you. Okay. And does Brillo pad work on cleaning a sensor? Yeah, absolutely, Lauren. Use that on your new Canon R. A brand new Brillo pad. Be perfect. And Walter says, I clean my own sensor all the time. Use the Photosol products. Great swabs and solution, easy for excellent tutorial videos. Yeah, the challenge is with the Olympus cameras. I don't know about the Z7 that you have now, but you know the sensors are they're not stable. You know, they move around in the camera. So I don't know if when you swipe, you might damage the sensor mechanism, you know? Because the sensor moves around in there. You don't want to break the IBIS by trying to clean your own sensor. You know, my Nikon D750, I had spots all the time and would clean it all the time because the sensor was fixed inside the camera. But on the Olympus, man, that thing's moving around inside. I'd be a little worried about breaking it, but I don't know. I'll have to research that. TPE is great for tracking sun and moon times. I still don't know what a TPE is. The photographer ephemeris, the Android version is only $2.99. I don't know what that is either. I'm gonna search for that, David. 3D for landscape photographer shooting. What is this? Offers the essentials for sun and moon photography. Oh, okay. It's an app to help you figure out where to go for sun and moon photography. Okay. All right. Now I know what that is. All right. And robtrek, please do not become a product picture. You lose your soul. Okay? I don't know what you mean by product picture. I wish you had an affiliate link when you show us something. Sometimes. I have to be more diligent, I guess. There's always links to my Amazon store and eBay in every video just by default, but to specific products, I don't do that quite as much as I should, I guess, or could. And the thing with the affiliate links, you know, well, Amazon anyway, you have to buy something within 24 hours. Otherwise, it doesn't count. And then it has to be something that's qualified. Most photography stuff is all qualified to earn a commission, but not everything on Amazon will I earn if you buy something. And you know, like I said, that 24-hour window is tight. You know, it used to be in the old days, it would be like a 30-day window. So if you clicked on the link and bought anything within 30 days, I would get a credit, but they haven't done that in forever. Most companies now, it's like a 24-hour window. And then everybody has these spam blockers and cookie cleaners and all of this stuff now. So it's even that much harder to get a commission because people have all these you know, tools built into their browsers to give a, you know, a smoother browsing experience, but it affects us as creators of, you know, trying to make a couple bucks. We, you know, so we lose out on a lot that way too. But like I said, always the best way is just, you know, buy me a coffee or make a direct donation to PayPal or something. That works the best. You know, affiliate products and advertising fees are so minuscule relative to those direct kind of things. Maybe I should just start a membership, but I hate, you know, I've talked about that before. I don't know what I would offer members that I don't offer to everybody already. Because whenever I make a video, honestly, I really try to do my very best. I can't imagine what I would do behind a paywall that would be better. I mean, my channel's not great, but it's the very best that I can do. So having a paywall is like, what can I do better? It's like, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. So that's why I haven't set up, you know, a subscription thing. I'm thinking about it though, because I saw one guy, he has like a paywall, and all he offers his subscribers, if you pay like $5 a month, is a little badge when you come into the chat section. I'm like, why would I pay $5 a month just so that when I chat, you know, I get a little badge next to my name? I guess it shows that I support the channel, and I guess there's some pride in that, that you support people and organizations that you like. So I guess there's a little bit there, but so I might do something like that just to see. Uh, but I don't know. You know, I just, like I said, I'd rather my content stand on its own, and if people like it, they can make a donation or buy a coffee or use the affiliate link. Do whatever they feel comfortable doing, or do nothing. It's okay, you know. But my content has to stand on its own, and all these other ways to channel, and this is where you take a channel like Tony and Chelsea, where they're trying to make good content, but they're definitely focused on business, right? Their channel is all about business. And anytime you watch a video of theirs, there is some very specific intent of that video to the viewer. Uh, so there might be 5 different ways to make a video. 4 of them are about driving money into your bank account, you know, as a creator. One of them might be for the viewer, right? My channel is kind of the opposite. Like, if I have 5 videos, you know, 4 of them will be just to help the viewer. Then one might be to drive business, right? Like when I do the product reviews, and half the time it doesn't even drive business to me directly. It drives it to the manufacturer because they gave me, you know, the microphone for free. Like I use this microphone all the time. So much so it's in my, oh, this, well, this is the other one. Like I use this one, this Comica mic. I use this a lot. This is like a $150 mic, you know, that I did a video on. And the links are directly to the manufacturer, if I recall. It's a great mic. But that's it. You know, it's not like real money that pays the bills, right? That I get. This is just stuff that I have in my bag. It's not. This doesn't pay the bills. um, anyhow, okay. Oh my God, I only got a couple minutes to my next stream, and I missed so many comments. Your channel's fantastic. Thank you. Rob, I noticed nasty banding of water from distant shore to the near the boats approximate your photo. This is occurring in some of my shots. Lysippus, I'd have to say I I've seen it on my EM10 banding in the shadow areas. But I didn't see it on I didn't look that closely on the images that I have, but I'll have to look. Nature says, happy to keep buying you coffees. Thank you, Nature. And then Nature says, I wouldn't waste my time. Okay, so I need to, any works in the works? I have a few ideas. I might do a follow-up on my video button video. And then I also want to do a video on flash with the Godox flash using the wireless triggers built into the flash units themselves. And I also want to do another update to my histogram video for highlights and shadows, because now that I have a modern full frame camera, I want to compare Micro Four Thirds, my Olympus cameras, to the full frame camera and do the same highlight shadow recovery type thing. So I'm doing some testing like that, which the results so far are pretty interesting. It wasn't, in some respects, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Like I thought there'd be like, you know, no chance my Olympus is going to compete against the Panasonic S5. And then in other parts of the test, it was like it just crushed it. You know, the R5, the S5 was just way better, right? And these are things where you're pushing the camera to their extremes, right? Not normal photography. Like the video I did already comparing the two cameras was like normal stuff, and you can't really tell any difference. But when you start pushing the cameras to their extremes, yeah, there can be some significant differences. I think it'll be a very educational video. Or I'm going to try and make it very educational, not just a simple test and comparison, but I want to try to add some uh, educational qualities or value to it, so that you can take better pictures, right? But okay, I have to get going, so I'm going to my photo editing live stream, which if you go to my channel, you can come watch that. But thanks again, everybody, for spending a couple hours or an hour and a half with me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I'll be back on Tuesday. So we'll see you again, and have a good rest of your weekend.